Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code GroveCityHockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today. Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is a very special guest. I've got the owner, the legendary Champion Hockey Company, Chris Ferrara. Did I say that right? I feel like I butchered that again. It's Ferrara, right?
Ferrara. It depends on if you're from New York, it's Ferrara, you know.
Yeah.
The Midwest, we say Ferrara. We'll let you get away with the Ferrara, but
okay.
Chris Ferrara.
All right, I appreciate it. And again, like we were talking about it off camera, and I could totally nail everybody's name, but the second it's on camera, I find a way to butcher it. So
no problem.
It's not personal. It's just apparently that's my shtick is butchering the last names, you know. So, but Chris, how you doing tonight, man? You doing great?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for taking the time to join us. So you own Champion Hockey. Tell us a little bit about Champion Hockey. What made you decide to go that route with Champion Hockey? And then we'll jump into your playing career.
So, yeah, I started Champion. We actually birthed it in September of 2021. It was during COVID, right around the COVID time. And we were playing roller. Ice was shut down. It was like the underground, you know, it was the speakeasy. Yeah, let's go play roller hockey, you know. So roller hockey was alive and well, and we were having a hard time getting wheels though. And I just kind of dawned on me, I've been a serial entrepreneur since I was young. I mean, it's a kind of a joke, the serial entrepreneur thing, but I started as a landscaper when I was 12, you know, was mowing everybody on my neighborhood's lawn. And then the landscaper moved into the neighborhood and he bought me out. And I took that money and, you know, then I started a party rental business and I did the party rentals and I sold that. And I got into restoration and I had a restoration cleaning company. I sold that. And that's when Champion was born, and it was really out of the necessity of having another product. I mean, Lebeda was always king. You know, they've been around forever. And there was Rink Rat, and there was Connex. And I was like, how are there only 3 wheels in this space? Like, I've always been used to competition. It's always been a grind. Like, how do you set yourself apart? Who's the competitor? Like, what are you going to do better than them? And the fact that there was only 3, I was like, we need another option, you know? So it really just came out of a joke where I'm like, I'm just going to start making my own wheels. And then it got to, we really can't get any wheels right now. And I'm a heavier skater. My background is in ice hockey. So I'm looking for a sharp edge. And in roller, there's no such thing. So, you know, I've always wanted a wheel that's durable, that gives me some grip, and it's not going to be mushy. And like I said, as a skater that's 215 pounds, that's looking for a nice hard edge to stop and cut on, it was always kind of like, which one's the best? You know, Connex always felt kind of good. Then I would go to Rink Rats. You know, Lebeda, I would jump back to Lebeda to see how that was feeling. Like, I could never really feel comfortable. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just start making my own wheels, and started researching it. And we birthed the Trophy and the Gold Series wheel, which was a Unipore solid hub. And we were kind of going after durability, you know, having good grip and having the durability and the last that I know I wanted from my products.
Mhm.
And from there, I just scaled the business. You know, as I saw needs and as I saw certain sales relationships building, I was doing a lot of team orders and a lot of direct to consumer. As a small business, I wanted the direct to consumer because, you know, going in the box stores, they want certain terms, they want certain nets, and, you know, a young small business that could choke you out with lack of cash flow. So
Right.
I kind of said, you know what, I'm going to go to the DTC route and keep the cash flow. I'll discount the products down because I don't have to worry about that wholesale margin as much.
Mhm.
And everybody's happy, you know, put out a good product at a good price. And from there, it just kind of evolved. It evolved into uniforms and bags and bearings and sticks. And we started with our first Pro 1 stick, which was prototype 1. It wasn't professional 1.
Right.
It was the Pro 1. And we came out with it. It was a pretty good stick. It was well balanced. It was durable. And again, constantly getting feedback from players. And now I'm starting to get into the ice hockey with the sticks and the uniforms. So now I'm getting feedback on the ice side from all the guys that I used to play with. And then they're giving it to their sons who are now teenagers and playing high level and taking the feedback and tweaking things. And now we're finally comfortable. We got all our SKUs. We have, you know, the 3 different style sticks. We have the low kick, we have the mid kick round Gold Series. Then we have the Legacy, which is our square shaft, mostly mid kick, but they can be custom ordered in low kick.
Okay.
And then, you know, now we have the Legacy wheels, which is the clear urethane. A lot of people like the clear urethane. And we went with a board out hub so that the urethane kind of intertwines into the hub to give it that durability and the rebound. We still have the Trophy and the Gold Series, which has become really a dual purpose wheel. We get a lot of players that play outdoors and play on mixed surfaces, you know, other than indoor sport court or still mat. And they're like, the wheels outside are great. They're durable. They last. We just rotate them. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise that, you know, that wheel has really become a durable, like multi-purpose wheel. And yeah, I mean, we've just, you know, over the past couple of years, just scaled the business up to meet the needs of what the consumers have wanted.
That's awesome. Yeah, because you know, like you were saying, 3 companies. You know, Connex wasn't even around when I retired in 2015. Rink Rat and Rinkster were the other 2 options that you really had outside of La Beta. You know, once you had that going on, it was tough to find a good, solid quality wheel where it wouldn't split in the middle with the hub, especially for the heavier set guys.
Right.
So
yeah, that was a problem I found.
Yeah, you know, like when I played, I think my heaviest at the time was 240. So it was tough, really, to try to, because you were going, well, do I get soft? Do I get extra soft? You know,
Right.
how do I balance it out? You know, and then on top of that, the hubs would always split, especially on my front 2, because I was always, you know, like, hey, if I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna hockey stop it. I don't care. You know, like that was my shtick, was trying to do the best type of hockey stop that I could, because of the bigger guys, you had to be quick on the shuffle feet to get going. So, you know, I surprised a lot of people, I guess you could say. So I was able to make it work. And but I noticed that I would blow out those wheels on the concrete. Once I got to the sport court, or I didn't get a chance to play on still mat. But like the sport court tile stuff, I never had a blowout like that. So that was always pretty cool. But I would get chunks missing out, which always drove me nuts.
The still mat surface is amazing. It really, the still mat in itself gives you a little extra grip. Definitely seems to wear the wheels more than a smooth surface, because it's got this triangle pattern and it's almost working like a cheese grater, I feel like, because you can see the amount of dust in all the rinks. It's just shaving the wheels,
Right.
Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing as long as the rinks are maintained. It's a great surface, and that still matte puck with that surface is just great. I mean, you could sauce a nice path. It lays flat during stick handling, and again, you got to change the pegs on the pucks to keep them fresh as well. But man, that combo is a really nice combo, and it does give you that extra grip no matter what wheel you're on. You could definitely feel a little bit of difference, so it helps the players that are crossover from ice to roller. It's giving those ice and harder skaters a little bit more bite.
Yeah. So, what are some of the comparisons you're seeing from your ice hockey sticks with, or from your hockey sticks with roller versus the ice aspect of it?
We don't really see much in the aspect of the guys that are playing roller and playing ice. They're all gravitating towards it. The one difference I would say, and I think it's across the board, is the roller pucks are lighter. So in some cases, guys need to flex down when they're playing roller to really optimize the flex in the stick. If you're using an 85 on ice, you probably are okay with a 75 on roller, and vice versa. It's kind of honing in what you're most comfortable with and where you're getting the most rebound. But, when we started manufacturing the sticks and I was talking to the manufacturers, they were kind of like, yeah, well, with these flex points, you may not even feel the difference between a mid kick and a low kick with a roller puck because of the weight, unless you start to, flex down. So that's really the only difference. I get a lot of players asking about the grip tack blade, which is the textured blade. A lot of the roller guys seem to like that grip tack because it's already got like a built-in grip to it.
Yeah.
We're working on our own little niche grip type style blade for roller right now. We're prototyping a couple things, but the textured blade, guys like Max Halverson, they don't really use any tape. They don't put the tape strip on or anything. They like that just textured blade. So we do get requests for that, but we could custom order those. We don't stock them. We usually stock the smooth blade and the full grip sticks, but I could do no grip. I could do grip tack blade. We still carry the P88 curve. We have the P91A. We have the PM9s. We're still stocking a lot of the discontinued models because when I'm an older player, so I'm in the 45 and over division, I'm in the 35 and over division, and these are the curves that we grew up with and became comfortable with, and they phased them out on us, and now they're making us play with these banana curves, and we're all used to these nice little sand wedges, and we're still continuing to make those patterns, and guys could custom order them, like I said, with different grips on the shaft and different flexes, different kick points, and they could even put their name and number on there and customize it a little bit more.
That's awesome. Yeah, when I was playing, I always had like the Franklin blade tape, style. It was just a little rubber right on there, and I still love that stuff to this day. So that was always my niche, you know, and none of the other guys on the team had that. But, I was always like, well, I'm not going to wrap tape all the way around my blade. It's just going to drag on there and it's going to, so I'm just like, the less friction I had, the better for me.
Yeah, I think there's a couple companies out there now with that style of, grip pad. I think Butt Ends has their own version of it. And there's one other company that's pretty big. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now.
It's literally called blade tape. I ordered some myself.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, blade tape. Yeah, I got it when Epic sent me a stick not too long ago. They sent me a stick to try out, and they're like, "Hey, man, give it a whirl. We hear you're coming back, so try a stick on us and see what happens." So I'll give it a whirl and see what happens.
Guy.
Yeah, I love Dan. He's a great guy.
Good guy. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of newer companies popping up. I think people see the opportunity. People want to do it. Like for me, it's a passion. It's not a job. I had this conversation with my cousin. It's like, it's not work when you enjoy doing it and you enjoy talking about what you have and what you're selling. You know, when I was a dry cleaner doing restoration work, I'm like, yeah, I clean people's clothes in fires. Like, how exciting, isn't it?
Right.
And now it's like, oh, I'm developing a new hockey stick. You know, now we're talking fun. Now this is enjoyable. But yeah,
Well,
you know,
go ahead.
no, I was going to say, you know, a couple other stick companies have come out over the past couple of years as well to, you know, compete with the monsters like Bauer and CCM.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, as you were saying, like, you know, once you develop that passion, to put out a quality product, it won't take much time for those guys that are at the higher echelon, to finally see that. I mean, you're already starting to bring it. You got PJ DiMartino, one of the best in the biz, right there. You know, and quite a few others as well. You know, it's not going to be, you know, like once they get their hands on your product, and they see what your product is going to do for their game, they're going to start switching, you know, hand over fist, you know, before you know it.
It is, you know, it is a bit of an investment. Like the wheels, listen, at the end of the day, if you're paying $10 for a set of wheels, not that big of a deal. When you're spending, you know, 150, 200, 300, $400 on a hockey stick, you don't always want to test the waters. You know, it's kind of a big investment. I mean, it's part of the reason we offer a 60-day warranty on the sticks is we want people to feel comfortable purchasing it. But it's also that we're confident in our product that, you know, it's going to last. And if it doesn't, we'll replace it. So, yeah, the more the guys start to get them in their hands, and that was pretty evident when we did the U.S. Roller Cup. You know, it was a whole different demographic. I've been on the State Wars circuit now for a little while, and there's a handful of teams that have seen us and you know, grab the stick or know somebody that has the stick, and you know, there's a handful of guys using them amongst the teams. But when we went down to Georgia, there was a whole new market, and just the reactions on a lot of these guys' faces and what they were saying, like, oh my God, it's so light. Oh, it looks so cool in person. You know, when you just seeing them in photos or on Instagram, it doesn't always do it justice. And then when you actually get it in your hand and feel the balance and the weight, then it's like, oh wait, this is legit. You know, this does feel like my Bauer or my CCM. So then guys are willing to take the chance.
Oh, that's awesome. So now let's segue a little bit to your playing career. What drew your attention to hockey, ice hockey? You said you were an ice hockey background from the start. What drew you to ice hockey? Was it, you know, a family member, or was it something you just like you saw on TV and was like, hey, Dad, I got to do this?
My grandfather was a speed skater and my mom was a figure skater. My aunt used to do the roll bounce, like, you know, on her quads at the roller rink. So we had kind of a skating family. My cousin, who was about a year and a half older than me, had just gotten into hockey and taken to it. And my mom got me on the ice and started skating, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And then my brother and I just kept playing, and we played high school hockey and we played travel. I played for the Long Island Royals, which, you know, later became a real name and powerhouse when Pat LaFontaine became a coach. And they've had some other real good coaches come through that series with a lot of good players. Sonny Milano was a Royals player. Rob Master-Simone, who's up in the Marlies and the Torontos. They just lost, I think, the AHL, their series for the Calder Cup. You know, there's a lot of good players coming out of New York here on the island and coming from that Royals program. And then from the Royals, I played on the New York State team for Empires, and I was actually on the team with Marty Hughes, which is the Hughes brothers' uncle.
Okay.
And you know, we had some good players that I played with. Komisarek and Rob Scuderi was on that New York team. Rob and I still see each other and talk every now and then. He's still local on the island. He played on our men's league team for a while, and then he was doing player development for the Predators and got called up as the assistant coach. So we lost him. We got that text message, hey boys, not going to make the game this week. My brother posted a article from or ESPN link, and it was like Rob Scuderi named assistant coach, interim coach. So we're like, all right, valid excuse. You're allowed to miss. But Yeah, so I played juniors till I was 21. I didn't realize, I was the older son, and there was really not much guidance as far as hockey was concerned here because guys were just starting to break through. Komisarek and Higgins, the Ferrara twins, they were ahead of their time, but there wasn't really anybody after them until our group that really started to break through. So I went to college full time because I needed health insurance. My mom's like, if you're playing junior hockey, I think we played like 75 games that year. We lost in double overtime in the Nationals. We played against the junior Blues, and then Detroit Motor City, I think, is who we lost to. And I was 21, so my eligibility was clicking off while I was playing, and I didn't realize. So when my clearinghouse came back, I only had 2 years of college. So I went Division III, went to Cortland for a year, and I tore my groin and my hip flexor pretty bad while I was there, and ended up transferring home. And I had an invite that year to go to the Idaho Steelheads camp, but I was worried about my eligibility. And of course, my coach put the fear of God in me. He's like, you go out there and you step foot on that ice, you'll lose all your college eligibility. So I was like, I got 2 years of college. I'll grind it, and then I'll call them and see if they'll let me, try out then. And I did reach out to them and say, I really appreciate the offer. I'm working on limited NCAA, and I'm afraid I jeopardize it, and blah, blah, blah. And the coach out there understood. But yeah, I ended up getting hurt. I had an invite to the New Haven Knights, which was a United League team.
Okay.
Went to that camp, and then, it kind of fizzled. They were like, you could go down to Louisiana, talk to the coach in Baton Rouge. I'm like, who the hell watches hockey in Baton Rouge, Louisiana? Like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
So then I got into roller hockey. I mean, that's how I preluded into roller. I never played roller growing up. It was ice. It was only ice.
Yeah.
I wasn't even allowed to ski because we were afraid of, blowing out a knee or doing something stupid.
Oh, damn.
So I never really skied when I was younger. I was just, afraid of a dumb injury. And we didn't really play roller either. And when I stopped playing competitively, a lot of my friends were all in the roller circuit, and a lot of my friends played in the RHI and for the Riot and the Hammerheads. Joey Tamburino, who was my roommate up in New Haven, he played for the Hammerheads. He actually got invited to the Trashers camp the following year, which was the year they did the show about. And
that's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that, because we had one of the guys from that team, the Thrashers team, actually playing in Major League Roller Hockey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was the one guy that they brought in that would always foil up. It was crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
trying to get that guy they were trying to get him to fight everybody, but nobody was dumb enough or smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, after a while, it's like, no, I'm not getting involved. You're not paying me enough. $500 a week is not cutting it.
No.
With room and board.
Yeah.
So I just started doing clinics and camps at Skate Safe, which was the local rink here. Nice twin rink facility out here. And roller was a different scene. It was a different game. It was more, it was more fun to me because it was different. 4-on-4, no offsides, and that's it. That's all she wrote. And here I am making roller wheels.
Yeah. Now you're also representing Team USA, right?
Yes, I am playing I joke around. I call it the geriatric games. I'm playing in the World Games Masters with your buddy Mike Francis. Franny's graduated to the mid-old man division, 45 and over.
He's going to be the youngest on the team, I hear.
Yeah, he's the rookie, but he's not a rookie because he won gold last year. I believe you had JP on the show. Him and JP.
Yeah, JP was on. Yeah, yep.
Captain JP and Hamilton. I mean, they ran a really nice team. They pulled it together. They had a couple crazy comebacks, but man, there was no touching that team. They were phenomenal on that big rink when they got wheeling. I mean, Tommy Bruce and JP and Mike. I mean, The team from top to bottom was stacked. It was just
and Marty. Don't forget Marty. Marty was on there too.
Oh yeah, Marty. Yep. And then Derek Kern did double duty. He played with us, and he played on the 38th.
Okay.
So he had to play the gold medal game after he went into shootout. We went into a shootout with France to take the silver. We lost in the shootout. So we went into double overtime and then a shootout, and then he had to play the gold medal game immediately after.
That guy. That reminds me of the AIHL when we had to go down to Pittsburgh at Hot Shots Arena that just officially closed down. We had a minor pro team. And we were the only team that went, so we had to play the minor. We listed as minor, but we had to play the pro games, and we had 4 straight hours. So it was minor game, pro game, minor game, pro game, and it was four straight hours. And our last pro game went into overtime, and we lost it. And I felt bad for our goaltender because we were short. We had a short bench. I think we had like 2 subs the whole. So 4 hours straight, playing against guys that had 16 guys on their bench. It was insane.
Yeah, the goalies had it bad out there in Italy as well because there's no air conditioning. I mean, there were ice rinks that they threw still mat on top of, so the compressors weren't on making ice, so it was warm in there. And these goalies got their equipment on. Little circulation. It was literally 85 degrees in the rink. I think both Susko and Scotty Sloan, my goalie, they needed an IV after one of the games. It was so hot in there, and just again sweating with all that equipment on. It was, and it's high level hockey, So
it is.
It took its toll.
Yeah, and then of course I had Bob Meacham on the pod. His episode is dropping, I think, this week. So maybe it might be dropping tomorrow. Might be dropping tomorrow. If not, then it's Franny's. So yeah.
Meach is a good guy. Yeah. We played against Meach in the Winter Wars East. I'm not going to say that I scored on him, but I might have scored on him.
Yeah, you guys. Now, did you guys? Did you play in the pro division or no?
We played. No, I played in the 45 snipe. I played for the snipers, 45 and over.
Okay.
So we played against Meach, and Mazer was also one of the USA 50 and over members. Their team was real solid. They were first going into that day. They were undefeated. We were struggling that tournament. We won last year. We won nationals last year, but for some reason we couldn't get it together for Winter Wars. We were struggling a little bit, and they were 3-0. We were like 1-2, and we ended up blowing them out. And it wasn't pretty, but the Assault ended up winning the whole thing when all was said and done. So,
those Assault boys.
Yeah, good old Assault boys. I can't talk trash because the Assault guys are all champion unied up, and most of them using the sticks, and some of them are using the wheels now as well. So I can't talk bad about the Assault boys.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So what's next for champion hockey? What do you guys have developing in the works? How are you guys looking to not only improve your wheels, because I mean with Lebeda dropping those new whips and the new spacer system, your research and development is going to start to kick in a little bit now that was a possibility, because I would have never guessed. I would have never thought that with that design.
No, the whips are a really nice wheel. I have to give credit where credit is due. Lebeda, listen, at the end of the day, the Lebedas, the Bowers, and the CCM, these guys are the OGs. They've been around a long time. They've put the money into the research and the development. They've tested stuff over the years. They've had other ideas to kind of throw around. So them launching those, I know it was a long time in the making. And I saw Rob and Scott and Kevin wearing them out in Italy. And, everybody's like, oh, what are those pink things on your feet? Well, what's up with those? I really like their chassis. Their chassis is really nice. But yeah, it's innovative, and they definitely scored with that. I mean, the wheels look solid. They really look good. There's a lot of good feedback about them. We launched the Legacies. We got a little bit of a different, feel with the Legacies because it's not a dual pour. We kind of went with that bigger hub system to kind of grab. But yeah, the whips are nice, and that bearing system, it sounds like the feedback is good. So I'm curious to see over the long term how it makes out. But I mean, they look hot. I mean, it seems like it's a home run for them.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And now, with that, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now what direction do you guys go, to, and not necessarily to compete with that, but to put out another. I mean, I guess you're going to keep putting out a solid wheel regardless,
Right.
because at the end of the day, it's the people who are wearing your wheels are going to be the ones that that love your wheel because of how it feels and the
Right.
performance that it does too. So
we're in the process right now. I'm trying to patent our own hub design, specific type of hub. Not anything like that with the way the bearing setup is. I mean, that was pretty innovative and creative. It's more of a way to enable the heavier, harder skaters to get a little bit more out of the wheel. So right now it's in theory. So we're gonna get some prototypes going eventually, and probably won't see those till the end of this year. Right, this year we built up the SKUs. We got our market, so to speak, to where we want it. So we're going to focus on sales, really getting the brand out there this year, really focusing on sales so we could keep building it back into the program and reinvesting into Champion. But we are in the process of designing a specific hub to try to get a little bit more for the heavier players out of the wheel. And I mentioned the certain style of grip on the stick to try to create like a specific roller stick. That's really our only two. Eventually we'd like to come out with gloves, because again, we do a lot of team order stuff, which is good because we're able to discount it even more if guys are ordering sticks and wheels and bags and uniforms and bearings, whatever. But for the time being, we're happy with the line that we have, and we're just going to roll with it for now and try to sell the shit out of it, and we're going to go from there.
Yeah. Well, I for one can't wait to see the grip on your stick technology. I have a couple ideas to toss out there at some point, but we won't air it live. We'll do it off the record.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah, because I don't want to give it away just yet, but from my experience, it'd be kind of cool to see something like that.
Yeah. So, sounds like a plan. Cool. I have a patent in the works right now for a bag, a certain style of hockey bag, and we're finalizing that. So there's a couple things in the hopper. Gotta always keep it new and fresh and creative. That's one thing LeBeta's always been good at. What's next, what's new, what's fresh.
Right.
They have a lot of options too. I'm trying to keep the options minimal. Less inventory, hone in on a few good things, and go from there. They have a lot of options, but they always have different styles, and they're very, very with the times, or they create the times essentially. Like they create the roller style, but they're good guys over there. I can't say anything bad about LeBeta. Like I said, they're the OGs. They've been around a long time, and they put a lot into this sport, and they've helped grow the game to where it is today, right? I mean, we all wouldn't be here, I think, if it wasn't for them.
I would agree with you, because majority of my wheels were LeBeta. So, when I got my new skates, I'm like, I've never skated on Connex wheels.
Connex got a nice product.
Yeah,
Connex has got a nice product.
Yeah, and it was like Mr. Sticky was a wheel from way back in the day, with their micro bearings that they had, because the hubs was super small. Yeah, and I started to, because I'm like, well, I'll try this out, because I'm like, all right, less wheel bearing movement, the better for me. But if I didn't realize that it would have been detrimental, because I was such a bigger skater. I needed to go a little needed a little more meat on them in order to stop blowing through them. But I mean, I couldn't cry
like the rotors on a NASCAR.
Like I couldn't complain after spending $10 for 24 wheels. So You know,
Right.
it's just like, all right, well, I guess I can afford to blow through 2 of them every 4 games.
Well, I mean, the pricing on everything has gone up. I mean, the wheel pricing back then was crazy, but it's all in the market. You know, again, going back to like what we have out there, people need to remember urethane's oil based. So if gasoline's going up and the price of oil's going up and whatever's going on in the world, the oil is affected. Urethane prices are going to go up, so you're going to have to pay more for wheels. It's just unfortunate, but that's kind of supply and demand and basic rules of business. Like if the supplies go up, then the product's going to go up, unfortunately. So, do we wish every wheel was 50 cents again? Absolutely, but they're not. Actually, when I was making the golds and the trophies, my cost on those changed twice in the midst of that production. Yeah, wow. I was furious.
Well, I know a lot of those wheels that I was buying back in the day, they went out of business really quickly. So it was just all overhead that they were just trying to deplete as quickly as they could.
Right.
So it was just like, oh well, here's 50 wheels for $12. Shut up and take my money, And then but once you started playing in MRH, IHL, up in the pro and elite levels divisions, you noticed it right away that the wheels that you could play with outside versus what you needed to play at the elite level were 2 different levels, and so that's where LeBeta's came into play, so which is unfortunate. I mean, not unfortunate, but because exactly like you said, they are the OGs. They've been there from the get-go. And for me, it's hard because you're going, okay, now I'm going to get back into it. And I love trying out product. What am I going to go to or lean towards? As far as what product is going to help me, sustain for the next couple of years, because my window is going to be very, very short. So, and I'm like, my stick was like 8 years old or 9 years old. So I'm like, I got a new stick and I got some new gloves and a new helmet. So now I got some new skates and now I need
to send you some wheels.
Yeah, that would be great,
Or to get you on those legacies.
For sure. But so now one last question before I go. Tell me about your favorite roller hockey moment, memory, achievement that you've had throughout your career.
Oh, it would have to be the Worlds last year in Italy. That whole experience was it was amazing. I mean, I've never been overseas. I was actually supposed to play ice hockey in Italy when 9/11 happened. I was supposed to fly out in October. And when 9/11 happened, I'm like, I'm not getting on a plane, So I missed that opportunity to go to Italy back then. And just the entire trip, the camaraderie of the players. I mean, I only knew like 2 or 3 guys on the team and in the program at all. And just all 3 teams, we all came together, one big group. We quickly became, we went from becoming teammates to friends to family. Like when we left that week and a half, it was amazing. The sights, the scenery, the food, just the entire package. It was nice to come home and win the 45 and over gold medal for the snipers in Winter Wars. I mean, in State Wars. Yeah. That was a nice experience too. But just the entire thing with the whole Italy trip and playing on the Olympic-sized rinks, playing against teams from other countries, and everybody was just super cool. Everybody's hanging out at the rink eating. By the way, the food at the rink was amazing. Yeah. You think you're eating at a Michelin restaurant, and meanwhile, it's the snack bar of the rink in Italy. Probably the best gnocchi I've ever had, and it was at a rink, a snack bar. I mean, it wasn't really a snack bar; it was a restaurant. Yeah. But yeah, that was a great experience. Really great experience.
Yeah, that's probably one of the few things that many people here in the States don't have that don't realize is that when you travel overseas, the food is phenomenal. I like when I was in Africa, literally hands down, you could not sell any animal that you had on your farm or your ranch that had to be given any antibiotics. So everything was free ranged, antibiotic free, all of that. So I mean, you were getting high quality protein, high quality lettuce. I mean, everything that you could think about. I mean, the juice, the fruit, all of that stuff was high quality.
Yeah. Yeah, the supermarkets or the grocery stores out there, the Aldi and what was the other one? Aldi and another smaller company. I mean, it doesn't look like they do here. You walked into that Aldi and it was fresh fruit baskets, like the farmers just came down, walked them down from their ranch and handed them a bushel of tomatoes.
Yeah,
everything was so fresh and it was so clean, and there was no Red Bull over there. There was no. I mean, we saw the occasional like Monster, but the Coca-Cola had like 2 ingredients in it. The can was this big, So
and you can buy everything and you can buy everything in bulk too. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, it was great. It really was. So
well, Chris, this is going to do it for this episode. I'm Ben W. Stock. This is Chris Ferrara. There you go. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Ferrara. All right. I got it. There we go. And, that's going to do it for this episode of GCH Podcast. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Thank you. And if anybody needs Champion products, we're available on Amazon, Sideline Swap, or you could go to our website at champion.hockey.
Boom.
Thank you.